everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books and today we are freaking out because it is the middle of the year. We're not really freaking out, but we are doing the mid-year Freakout booktube book tag where we are going to be reflecting on the year that has been so far and seeing where we're up to with our goals, and we are thinking about the future and what we want to achieve before the end of the year. So the first thing I'm going to say is I feel like I'm doing pretty darn good on my reading goals so far. So perhaps you can see behind me, I have my little counter here to say how many books I have read. My goal is to read 52 books. That's the same goal that I set every year. It's a book a week. And I am currently up to 46. So I am soaring. I am definitely going to meet that goal. I have no doubt in my mind. I only need to read 6 more books and I've got 6 more months. I could read a book a month and I will meet my goal. I'm going to read more than that, but that's where we are. We're happy. We're sailing along. No problem there with meeting that goal. Later in the video, I'm going to talk about some of my more specific goals and where I'm up to with those. But let's get into the questions for this. And I am going to link the question, or put the questions down into the description of this video. So if you want to participate, you are tagged. Consider yourself tagged. Nobody is specifically tagging me to do this video. I just like to do it as a, check in, see how I'm going in the middle of the year. So if you would like to participate, you have been tagged by me officially. If you don't have a booktube channel or other book social media, feel free to drop your answers to the questions down into the comments. I'm always happy to see other people's. I love watching these videos and sort of checking in with people and seeing how they're going with their goals as well. All right, so question number 1. What is the best book you have read so far this year? And for me, so far, the best book has been Discipline by Randa Abdel Fattah. This is a book that has been shortlisted for the Miles Franklin Literary Award, which I'm currently sort of making my way through. So that's the reason I picked this one up, and I absolutely loved it. The shortlist at the time of filming came out yesterday. So I'm recording this on the 25th of June. So I'm a little bit ahead of the middle of the year, but 25th of June is when I'm recording this, and the shortlist just came out 24th. This one made it. So I'm very pleased about that. I absolutely adored this book, and I think everybody should read it because I think it is amazing. So that was a 5-star read. I actually haven't had a whole lot of 5-star reads this year, so it's one of like a handful, and absolutely loved it. What is the best sequel? This is question 2. What is the best sequel you have read so far this year? And for me, that is Witches Abroad by Terry Pratchett. This is a Discworld novel, and it is part of the sequence for The Witches, which is what I am currently reading, because there's lots of different ways to read the Discworld books. So I'm reading it by sub-series, and this is the 3rd book in that sub-series. So yeah, loved this book. It was a joy, and I was very, very happy to finally get to it, because it's one I've been waiting to get to for some time. I've sort of read one per year for the last couple of years of the Discworld books. The next question is, what is a new release that you haven't read yet but want to? I have a couple on my shelves now of books. I'm counting new releases as being released this year, but I've just picked one out, and that is Almost Life by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. This one came out a couple of months ago, and I picked it up pretty much straight away, or within the first couple of weeks of it being released, and I haven't gotten to it yet, and I'm excited about it. I've read other books by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. What is the one that The Mercies is the one that I've read, and I really loved that book. So I'm hopeful about this one. I think it's going to be good. Next question, number 4. So question number 4 is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? Now, to answer this question every year, I always look at books I've pre-ordered and still haven't come in yet. And so my initial thought was, oh, I know what I'm waiting on, and that is The Night Watch, K-N-I-G-H-T, not N-I-G-H-T, by Thomas D. Lee. I read Perilous Times by this author a couple of years ago and absolutely loved it, and it's a chunker. And I looked it up. My pre-order is due on October 6th. Then I realized that's the paperback, because I don't want to pay for the hardback, because the hardback is like $60, and I draw the line. So I'm actually waiting for it. The hardback has actually already come out. So you can read this book right now if you want to, but I am going to wait until October for the paperback. So then I thought, okay, let me see about a book that's coming out that is also on my pre-order. So my second one that I've chosen is Shakespeare in the Orchard by Danielle Binks. Danielle Binks is an Australian author, and she has written some fabulous books that I have very much enjoyed. And so I am looking forward to this. She's a children's author, so this will be like a middle grade book that's coming out, and I'm very excited for it. So those are my 2 anticipated releases, one being an actual not yet released book. Sorry, that one I should have said comes out on the 7th of July, so I don't have long to wait for that one. And the other one being waiting for the paperback. In the meantime, I may, if I can come across something like an audiobook, I might jump into The Night Watch a little earlier than October, but we'll see. Question 5. What was your biggest disappointing book so far? I've picked 2 for this. The first one I thought of was I Am Nanurkaruk by Tasma Walton. This is a book I DNF'd. I read about, I think, 50, somewhere in the vicinity of 50 pages, maybe more than that. Might have even been closer to 100 pages. I can't recall. But I was so disappointed because I really, really wanted to love that book. My mum loved it, and I just did not get along with the writing style at all. So it was really, really disappointing. And then I thought, okay, so that was a DNF. I didn't actually finish that book. So then I had a look at the books I had finished. There's nothing in there, like I haven't rated anything below 3 stars in that I've finished. I think I'm getting a bit better at DNFing books that I'm not getting along with and not just pushing through. So there hasn't been any that have been like super disappointing, but one that I did finish, and actually I haven't yet reviewed because it's a book that I finished in the month of June, and I will be making a video with my wrap up of June books following on from this one. But it was this poetry collection called Good Grief by Brianna Pastor. I first came across Brianna Pastor on social media. Like she had shared some like snippets of her poetry, and I guess the danger with that is you're seeing probably what she's identifying as the best poems in the collection, but then the rest of the collection didn't really live up to what I was hoping it would be, and I was disappointed by that. I still gave it 3 stars, but it was a little bit disappointing. So of the books that I finished, this is one that was a bit disappointing to me. All right, moving on from disappointment, let's think about now what was surprising. So question 6 is, what was your biggest surprising book so far? I had to think about this one a little bit because like nothing has surprised me, like in the sense of I wasn't expecting to like this, but I really love it. Or, you know, I thought I was going to find this a bit more mid, but I actually loved it. There wasn't really too much in that regard. But one that I thought had some surprising twists and turns was Lolly Willows by Sylvia Townsend Warner. I was quite surprised by some of the places that this book went, particularly given how long ago it was written. So yeah, I was quite surprised by this book. Very interesting. Okay, who is your favourite new author is question 7. I'm always a little bit cautious about this because if you've read one book by an author, it's hard to know for sure that you're going to like the other stuff they've written. Maybe this is the best book they've written. So with that caveat, I will say, and this is a new to me author as opposed to a debut author, but Sarah Hall, I've just finished reading Helm. It was the most recent book I finished. And I loved this. I thought it was amazing. I've ended up giving it 5 stars. And I was blown away by the concept and the execution of that concept. I think it is a brilliant book, and I'm so surprised it hasn't won all the things, to be honest, because it's very, I think, quite original, and just beautifully written. So that one is, I'm cautiously saying that Sarah Hall is a new favourite author for me. I'd be interested in looking up more of her stuff. Okay, who is your new fictional crush? I'm also going to go with The Wind Called Helm, from this book. And I think I'm justified in having a crush on Helm, because of the way that Sarah Hall has depicted Helm as a character and kind of given Helm characteristics. I'm obsessed with this character. So that is who my newest fictional crush is. Who is your newest favourite character is question 9. I'm going to go with Blanca from Briefly a Delicious Life by Nell Stevens. Blanca is a ghost, and she has been hanging around in this monastery for several centuries, and the story that she is telling us is of the time that the author George Sand and the musical composer Chopin came and stayed in the monastery. And she's just a delight, this character. Like, she's just the way she's written is just fantastic. So I love her. I think she's a great character. All right. I think maybe my stack might be a little bit on screen, but that's okay. All right, question 10. What books made you cry? Okay, I've got a couple for these. I actually decided to pull out all the ones I could remember crying in, because I usually cry a lot when I'm reading, and I haven't cried that much in the books that I've chosen so far this year. So I'm going to go with Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I definitely remember crying in this one by Talia Hibbert. I thought it was very totes emosh. This one, And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Backman. I cried like a baby. Thanks so much, Frederick Backman. And I also remember crying in Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, and more towards like the end of the story, like, because it was going in directions that she took me there. It was sneaky, and I'm okay with it, but it was a time. So those 3 books are books that I definitely remember crying in this year. All right, question number 11. What is one book that made you happy? And again, I'm going to go with Witches Abroad by Terry Pratchett. I was smiling. This was a very amusing book. I really, really like it. So I'm going to go with Witches Abroad. It made me happy. And it also made me happy to finally get that one done, because it's one I've been anticipating for a long time. Okay, number 12. What is the most beautiful book you have bought or received so far this year? I am keeping track of the books I have bought and received this year. I've made myself a spreadsheet that I'm adding to as I acquire books. So I actually had a list to consult this time, which was very helpful. And the book that I'm going to go with, that I think is the most beautiful, is this one. It is called Paris to Monaro, Pleasures from the Studio of Hilda Rix Nicholas. This is an art book. It's beautiful on the outside, and of course it also has beautiful paintings illustrated on the inside as well. This is an art book that I picked up earlier this year when I went to an exhibit at the what's it called? Art Gallery of New South Wales, which featured some work from Hilda Rix Nicholas, and this book was for sale in the gallery shop afterwards, and I picked it up because I was like, I do want to read more about this author, and also it's just a beautiful, beautiful book, and I'm so happy to have it in my collection. It makes me super happy. Okay, now we come to the part where we talk about what's coming next, because question 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? The answer to that, as always, is none. Like, reading is a fun hobby. There's no need to in reading. There shouldn't be. We should be reading what's making us happy and what's bringing us joy. So there's no need to read any particular things. But I do like to take this opportunity to reflect on the goals that I have set for myself and where I'm up to in those. So I've already mentioned that I have read 46 out of my 52 books. So 6 books of any kind would be fine. So there's that. The next thing is goal that I set for myself is 10 ebooks. And so far I have only read 3. So I would like to, as part of my reading, this is a goal I set for myself every year and I never meet it. I just don't love reading ebooks. I don't love the format. So I guess the reason that I set this as a goal is because I own so many. I've purchased so many ebooks and I don't want those purchases to just sit there. So I need to start moving my way through them. But yeah, and also of the books that I have read or that are ebooks this year, none of them have been purchases. I've read them as like library borrowing ebooks. So it's not actually meeting my goal. So I think I would like to try to get through at least a couple of books off my already purchased ebooks as part of that. So that's a goal that I'm not doing so well on. However, all my other goals I'm doing really, really well on. But the next one was to read the Stella Prize, and I have read 10 out of the 12 books. Technically one of those is a DNF, but I'm counting that because I'm not going to continue reading it. I gave it a good go. So I only have 2 books left to read, which I do physically own. One is Find Me at the Jaffa Gate by Michaela Sahar, and the other one is And Kami to Give Life To by Deborah Dank, which is one that I have been anticipating for a long time that I really, really want to read. So I already owned it before the Stella long list was even announced. So I would definitely really want to read this one this year, and if I can, I will try to read this one also. So those are the only 2 physical books that I am going to show you as need to read. My final goal was to make progress on 5 series, and I'm actually doing really well on this goal because I have made progress on 4 series. Those series are Ice Planet Barbarians, and you're not going to hear me talking more about that. I'm not tracking them, but just know I've made progress on that series. Thunderhead series, which technically I started and completed because I read the 2 books in that series. So if I start a new series, I'm not counting it. So for example, Act Your Age, Eve Brown, even though technically it's book 3 in the series, it's the first book I read in the series. That's not counted as progress to a series because I'm starting a new one. But one that I've already started or that I start and then read a second book from. So I'm not counting that one. So what's that so far? 2. Witch Hat Atelier, I read the second book in that series. I've read some from the Discworld, so we're up to 4. And I'm currently reading the second book in the Lucy Barton series, technically I think it's called the Amgash series, but it's probably better known as the Lucy Barton series because that's the first book in the series. And I'm reading Anything Is Possible by Elizabeth Strout at the moment. So I'm about to finish this goal, basically, very, very soon. Possibly before the end of the month, maybe next month, we'll see. But yeah, I'm I am feeling really, really confident about that. I haven't taken any notes on this, but I probably should have. I did mention at the beginning of the year that I'm sort of trying to do the 52 book club reading challenge for 2026. I'm having mixed results with this one, because technically I'm going to have read 52 books, but I'm not going to have met all of the prompts by the time I do that. So I'm going to see how I go in terms of completing this challenge. But let me just count up how many I have done. So 27, 28, 29. So of the prompts, I have done 29 out of the 52. So I'm more than halfway. So that's good, I guess. But like, I'm certainly not going to make it to the 52 at the same time as I finish reading 52 books, because not all of the books I've read have met prompts. And I'm trying to just sort of hold it loosely, because that's not, like, I don't want this to be super restrictive. I am thinking that I probably won't do this again next year, because I do find the prompts a little bit restrictive. It was fun to plan it, and that was the fun bit. So I probably won't do the challenge again next year. However, I'm getting there. I think I will finish it. I don't know. But there's also like prompts within, like mini prompts and other things that kind of come up with this through the year. So we'll see. But I'm making decent progress, I think. But will I finish it? I don't know. I do not know. Is that all I need to? Oh, yeah. One of the things that a project I've been working on as well, in tandem with the books that I've been reading, is I have been trying to match a pin, like an enamel pin or, ceramic pin, like a decorative pin, to each book that I have read. And I thought I would just show you an update. This is not up to date, because I still have some that are coming in the mail, because I didn't have a pin already that sort of suited the book. So yeah, and also I just finished Helm last night. I haven't even looked into what I'm going to do, but I'll just show you what I've got so far, because I'm enjoying this challenge as well. So I'm kind of up to there, which I think that book was The Correspondent. So that was the first book I read in May, and then I've got one missing here that's on its way, and then you can see I've got a big gap here of pins that are on their way. So some of these I already had, and some of them I bought, but I'll just hold this up to you to show you, because it's a fun project and I'm having fun with it. So yeah, it's fun. I love it. I'm enjoying it. It's super good. Would recommend, although only if you have the money to spend on pins, because you'll be spending a lot of money on pins. Okay, let's move on to the final question, and that is question 14. Favourite book to movie adaptation that you have seen this year? I have not seen any movies. However, I did watch the TV series The Other Bennett Sister, and I loved it. So I would highly recommend that one. I haven't read the book The Other Bennett Sister, but I really, really enjoyed the TV series. It's 10 episodes, I think, and it was super enjoyable. I really, really loved it. Highly recommend. Okay, as I said, if you would like to do this challenge, consider yourself tagged. Would love to see your responses. Please feel free to, tag me in your videos if you're uploading videos, to say that you're doing it. I would so that I see it, or just pop down in the comments to say I've made this video as well, and then I can click on your profile and go and watch yours. So yeah, please make this video. It's good fun. It's good to have a moment to reflect and see how far you've come so far, where you're up to with your goals, and what you need to kind of prioritize to make sure that you meet them or get as close as possible by the end of the year. We've got 6 months to go, people. There's still plenty of time. All right, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that you're not freaking out with your goals, but let me know down in the comments. I would love to chat to you down there. All right, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.